Hello and welcome back to my channel. For a long time, I viewed celebrity status as a positive thing to achieve in life. Having access to nice things, perks, and people calling your name seemed like the pinnacle of success. However, as I've gotten a little bit older and wiser, a little bit wiser, I've come to realize that not everything that glitters is gold. From Epstein, P. Diddy, Dan Schneider, and a bunch of other elitist creeps, they all seem to have two things in common: money and power. Power seems especially important because it tells what the money or resources will do to their advantage. For instance, writing down a name in a book almost costs nothing, but if it's the names of powerful business people, celebrities, politicians alike committing crimes against children, now that's power. It also costs nothing to promise people money and success when you bully and abuse them into silence. And similarly, being adult having unfettered access to children and convince them into traumatic situations is power. And what did Lord Acton say about power? Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And also, absolute power demoralizes. Now here's where I take a hop, skip, jump, and a plane ride to an assumption that absolutely has no factual backing whatsoever. Enter Michael Rubin. Now, for some of us, like me, that live under a rock, Michael Rubin is a successful multi-billionaire with a B for being the founder and CEO of Fanatics, and I'm sure other savvy business moves he's made over the years. He's heavily involved in the sports world, such as owning sports teams, befriending athletes, and owners alike, such as Robert Kraft. He has these white parties every year since 2021, where major celebrities, athletes, personalities gather in one place to have a party for hours and hours on end. It's interesting looking at the pictures of everybody there at these parties because you wouldn't expect that all of these people would attend the same party. It's kind of like what I imagine a kickback would be in high school, but then you invite your teachers and the janitors and parents of other friends you have. It kind of feels like that, but that's just me. Now, is throwing a party where celebrities attend make Michael Rubin a bad man, a guilty man? Absolutely not. But when you take a closer look at these pictures, it does seem like he might be a strange man. He has an interesting entourage of people that always seem to be around him, and not just at these white parties, such as, and not limiting to, Meek Mill, Drake, Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart, and Lil Baby. However, in research for this video, I did come across an article that very much clearly stated that there were social media personalities under the age of 18 attending these parties. Now, of course, that can be easily explained because at the time his daughter was also under the age of 18, and I guess those are just her friends. I don't know about you, but having a 17-year-old go to a party thrown by a near 50-year-old to be surrounded by hundreds of adults with alcohol and whatever else gets passed around doesn't seem like a recipe for success to me. And on top of everything else I already mentioned, it seems like Michael Rubin gets a lot out of taking pictures with Negroes. Like, I've never seen a man smile harder than Michael Rubin at a white party with his hands and arms wrapped around the necks of black men. And just to illustrate my point further about why I get weird vibes from his pictures, this is why. So he's got a stranglehold on James Harden and this man over here. And I'm sorry, if I'm a grown ass man, I'm not letting anybody put their hand around my neck like that with my hands clasped together in prayer. That's just not happening. So this is from his partner's Instagram, and obviously they look great together. But take a look at this. You won't need the sound on. Just I'm I'm confused. If I was a grown man, I would not let another man so exuberantly rip my shirt. Plus, that's my shirt. Don't rip my shirt. If I was OBJ, that's what I would be saying. And look at Meek Mill. He looked like a proud baby mama. Oh, and there's Kevin Hart zonked out of his mind. I don't think he knows he's even at a party. This picture right here. There's just something a tad bit unsettling. I don't know how else to say this, but I've been around tall people before. If I need to speak to them and it's a loud environment, I'll usually like point to my ear, like, hey, I need to talk to you. I need to, talk to your ear. And they lower themselves down so I can talk to them. But this, I've never done this. I've never done this move before. So it just seems very I'm gonna just call it interesting. I'm saying this right now. Lil Baby is kidnapped. Lil Baby is kidnapped in plain sight, not because of the young lady featured in this picture, not because of her, but just look at him. Look at his eyes. I'm not sure if that's just how he takes pictures in any and all circumstances, but there's something that says, please help me, about the way how he's looking at the camera right now. And I just can't shake the feeling. I can't get over it. And of course, everything I'm saying is alleged, and I also don't think he's literally kidnapped for legal purposes. I just don't want to get sued because me versus a billionaire? Yeah, that's not going to happen. To wrap up this part of the video, I think this article from the Business Insider is very telling. I do like bringing people together. I have such a diverse set of friends, and I like to see them learn and grow from each other. Which I'm going to have to pause there because these are A-list celebrities for the most part. I'm not exactly sure what else they have to learn from each other in terms of being better at what they do. But that's just me. Rubin told Insider that he's like a sponge and learns from his friends, saying his social circle was one of his greatest assets. Concerning social circles, I wonder who else considered that an asset before he was knocked out permanently. If you made the comparison, that's on you. I'm just saying. I think if you have a diverse group of friends, you can constantly learn from each other, Rubin told Insider. Robert Kraft and I learn from each other. Meek and I learn from each other. Quavo and I learn from each other. Which I don't know what you're learning from Quavo. Maybe he has a master's in Mandarin that I don't know about, but you do you. Gary Vee and I learn from each other. One of my best skill sets is the diversity of friends that I have, which is true. You do learn more when you experience other people's ways of living and the knowledge and the experiences that they've had. I'm just not seeing what it's worth the payout to have 350 friends and what you're going to learn from them after being a multi-billionaire for quite a while. But again, that's just me. Maybe I'm the one that's being culturally insensitive here about the ways Michael Rubin is trying to learn about other things. Now, here's my final point. I think it's interesting that Michael Rubin has come more into the consciousness, not just for his business practices, but also for the people that he hangs out with and how he hangs out with them. I also find it interesting that in the years following Epstein, in the same year, we've had a P. Diddy and a Dan Schneider scandal, which, don't get me wrong, it is important to talk about these people because they do have an effect on the social consciousness. However, it's not like these problems never existed before. And as a matter of fact, basically since the beginning of Hollywood, young childhood actors and actresses have been taken advantage of. And it's just kind of weird because when these Hollywood stars, finally feel strong enough to say something and say what actually happened, the first thing that happens to them is that they get labeled as crazy or they get bombarded with hateful messages from people that used to be their fans. And on top of that, it's not like these elitist people don't know what is happening in Hollywood. As a matter of fact, if you scroll through Michael Rubin's Instagram far enough, you will see that he is partaking in a toast with people from Rock Nation with the head inward himself, P. Diddy. So you can't tell me that these people don't know. At this point, I feel like there are two things to take away from this. One is to support the victims and to support the people who are actually trying to expose the wrongdoings of the industry. And two, always look for the bigger picture. Why are we being inundated with documentaries and news stories about P. Diddy, about Dan Schneider? And why are people taking a sudden interest in Michael Rubin, aside from his business acumen? Is it possible that we are being distracted from something? Has there been anything that you think we've been distracted from in the past couple weeks? How should people react when news about Hollywood comes out about another scandal? You let me know. Thanks for watching. As I was doing my research for this video, I was on Michael Rubin's Instagram, of course, and I clicked on his story, and then I see this post, and I was like, okay, it's probably an April Fool's thing because it says April 1st at the very bottom. But I just thought it was so weird that, you know, is he capitalizing off of the searches on his name, off of people being curious about these white parties? Is he gearing up for the next one and this is just a part of their like sneak peek kind of thing? I don't know. But I just thought it was so shady that they used that Negro slave picture of James Harden holding up his hands asking for mercy from the release of this white grip around his neck to promote these white party inspired shoes.